This week on NewsNight, a suspect in a violent crime spree in Pittsburgh has been captured. The Pittsburgh police are testing a new mode of transportation, and the local election results are all in. All that and more coming up on NewsNight. Good evening. I'm Frank Smith. A man was arrested last Thursday in what Pittsburgh police are calling a 24-hour violent crime spree. 23-year-old Devin Montgomery was arrested early Thursday morning in Carrick on Birmingham Avenue. Montgomery faces 21 charges, including harassment, robbery, 2 counts of recklessly endangering another person, and resisting arrest. Montgomery had 3 warrants out for his arrest, 2 in Pittsburgh and 1 in Mount Oliver. Police started searching for Montgomery in October for threatening his girlfriend with a gun. Early Wednesday morning, Montgomery began the violent crime spree in 5 locations around the Pittsburgh area. Montgomery was found and arrested early Thursday morning at his mother's home in Carrick. He is scheduled for preliminary hearings later next week. Pittsburgh police are testing new ways to implement environmentally friendly transportation to the sheriff's office. Officials said via a Facebook post, quote, "Today the sheriff's office is test driving a Model 3 in hopes that we can add Teslas to our fleet. We have always been conscious of the environment and realize the importance of reducing our carbon footprint while still providing the best public service to the citizens of Allegheny County," end quote. Reportedly, the sheriff's office would save the department $17,000 over the next 5 years. Pittsburgh police are still undergoing a decision to add Teslas to the fleet. No decisions have been made yet. Suspects in a deadly Penn Hills home invasion have been found, and a deadly car crash in Monroeville led to 1 woman losing her life. Trish Moraes has those stories.
Last Saturday morning, 2 suspects in connection to the deadly home invasion in Penn Hills were extradited back to Pittsburgh all the way from California. The deadly incident occurred on October 6th of this year when police officers found the victim, 35-year-old Aaron Evans, shot dead inside his home on Lawton Street in the Pittsburgh neighborhood of Penn Hills. Police surveillance footage shows 3 men dragging Evans as he was headed to pick up his child from daycare. 2 weeks after the incident, 2 suspects, 19-year-old Laren Howard and 18-year-old Laquan Perkins, were arrested by the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office in Lancaster, California. Both are currently facing charges for criminal homicide, burglary, robbery, and criminal conspiracy. Police have yet to identify the 3rd suspect involved in the surveillance video. And a woman passed away last Friday after a car crash in Monroeville. The incident occurred on the 2800 block of Broadway Boulevard. 41-year-old Nicole Hilla was transported to the AHN Forbes Hospital, where she died 4 days later on a Friday night. The Monroeville police are currently investigating the deadly crash.
The United States Senate unanimously passed a bipartisan bill making specific types of animal cruelty a felony. The Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture Act was passed Tuesday afternoon. The bill now awaits signature on President Trump. Pennsylvania Republican Senator Pat Toomey said, quote, "Passing this legislation is a major victory in the effort to stop animal cruelty and to make our communities safer," end quote. Connecticut Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal also added, quote, "There is no place in a civilized society for maiming and torturing animals, period," end quote. The pending bill is an expansion to the 2010 Animal Crush Video Prohibition Act, which made creation and distribution of animal crushing videos illegal. The bill is still awaiting the president's signature. Coming up after the break, your weekly forecast and an update on teen vaping. Stay with us. Go.
Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go!
Join UView and find your herd.
Be like, join EOP. And 3, 2, join EOP.
I just said grab them now, or else I can.
Yeah.
Join On Point with Politics. 3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
Welcome back. Pittsburghers took to the polls last Tuesday. Zoe Angelucci joins us with the results.
This past Tuesday, November 5th, was Election Day. Pittsburgh citizens lined up at the polls to cast their votes. This election was an off-year election and centered in on smaller local titles like judges, magistrates, and county officials. What seemed to be the two biggest issues were the district attorney election and the Parks Trust Fund Charter Amendment. For the first time in roughly 20 years, District Attorney Democrat Stephen A. Zappala Jr. had an opponent. Independent Lisa Middleman challenged the incumbent. According to KDKA, with around 57% of votes, Zappala will stay Allegheny County's DA, although Middleman did give him a run for his money. This year, the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy founded a charter amendment to keep Pittsburgh parks clean and accessible for all citizens. This charter amendment passed with 50% of citizens voting yes for the parks. Because this is an off-year election, voter turnout was smaller than a typical on-year election. Voters are excited about next year's election and want change for their future. Pittsburgh resident Barbara Johnstone says the upcoming election is very important. She is concerned about issues involving disparity and citizens being disaffected enough to vote for Trump. Similarly, citizen Adele Morelli just wants normalcy within politics and the country again. 4 out of 5 voters said they deemed next year's election as very important. Pittsburgh is definitely ready and looking forward to next year.
Temperatures are expected to fluctuate between mid-30s and mid-40s this week, and we might see some snow Tuesday. Trish Marias joins us at the desk with this week's weather forecast.
Thanks, Frank. As we witnessed on Tuesday, we witnessed no showers with a high of 34 and a low of 18 degrees. But as we move on to Wednesday, we see a quick rise in temperature with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 34 and a low of 28. This similar weather will continue to carry over onto Thursday, but then on Friday, it's going to dip again with a high of 44 and a low of 23 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And this will then carry over onto the weekend with a high of 39 and a low of 25 on Saturday, and a high of 48 and a low of 33 degrees on Sunday with partly cloudy skies, And that's your weather forecast for this week. I'm Trish Marias. Thanks for tuning in.
President Trump has joined in on the team vaping conversation. Maddie Gillespie joins us with that story.
On Friday, November 8th, President Donald Trump said that he will be working on legislation to raise the age to be able to purchase electronic cigarettes. Instead of 18 years old, those who want to buy vapes and other types of e-cigarettes must be at least 21. While federal law states that any person 18 years of age or older can purchase tobacco products, more than 1/3 of U.S. states have already raised their sales age to 21. President Trump first announced the administration would ban flavored e-cigarette products in September amid concern about rising rates of youth use and reported lung illnesses connected to vaping. At the time, Trump said they would implement strong rules and regulations to keep the products away from underage users. Trump didn't give many specifics about those rules and regulations, but said, quote, "We have to take care of our kids most importantly, so we're going to have an age limit of 21 or so, but we'll be coming out with something next week very important on vaping," end quote. He later said, quote, "We're talking about the age, we're talking about flavors, we're also talking about keeping people working. There are some pretty good aspects," end quote. E-cigarette products have largely been blamed for the rising rates of underage tobacco use by U.S. teenagers. A survey conducted by the Journal of the American Medical Association said that there are currently 5.3 million high school and middle school e-cigarette users compared to 3.6 million school-age users last year. The Trump administration is planning to announce the details of a possible ban on flavored e-cigarette products this week.
Thanks, Maddie. Stay tuned for your sports report. We'll be right back.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. I'm Josh Krupp alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
2-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Point Park men's basketball had their series opener. The women's volleyball team held their senior game, and the women's soccer team is moving on to the River State Conference semifinals. Abby Ponkness joins us with the sports report.
Last Tuesday, on November 5th, the Point Park men's basketball team had their season opener against Penn State Du Bois at the CCAC Allegheny Campus Gymnasium. The final score was 81-64, with starter forward Cameron Shockley playing 27 minutes and leading with 16 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and 7 rebounds. Since then, the team has played 3 games, most recently a 74-83 loss to Johnson & Wales University in Miami, Florida. Their current record for the season is 2 wins and 2 losses. The team's next game is Friday, November 15th against Penn State New Kensington at New Kensington. And on Saturday, November 9th, the women's volleyball team held their senior day at the Student Center Gym. They played against Ohio Christian University and won 3-1 to post their record 22 wins and 8 losses for the regular season and 12 wins and 4 losses in the River States Conference. Individual leaders for the game included junior Jaslyn Rozier with 4 blocks and sophomore Ashley Costelli with 15 digs. The River States Conference Volleyball Championship will take place in the Student Center Gym on November 15th and 16th. Point Park starts off the quarterfinal matches on the 15th at 11 a.m. And continuing on with our women's soccer team, on Sunday, November 10th, they took a 2-0 road win against WVU Tech in Beckley, West Virginia, for the River States Conference quarterfinals. Senior goalkeeper Ashton Webb had 9 saves, while sophomores Taylor Goldstrom and Tia Haru both scored for the Pioneers. Their next games will be the River States Conference semifinals against Ashbury University in Wilmore, Kentucky on Wednesday, November 13th. That's all for the sports. I'm Abby Folkness.
Great job to all of our sports teams. That's your news for tonight. From all of us here at NewsNight, I'm Frank Smith. Thanks for watching, and good night.